Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast. And today we have a special player spotlight today with Mr. Tytus Cissell from Francis Howell High School. Little pre-draft conversation. We like that better. I reached out to him not too long ago, actually just around the end of the season, and asked if we could talk to him about his journey, basically, because I personally have never known anybody that has gone through this process, and I always think it's a fascinating thing, that how do you deal with all of the whole scope of things, especially at, we can say we want to, we're still kids at that age, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a different type of process than a lot would imagine, but yeah.
So welcome into the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I dig, first and foremost, I heard this the other day I was watching the Dodgers and the Phillies the other day, last night, in fact, and they were talking about the old Expos, and here he comes walking in rocking the Expos hat. That's killer, dude.
Yep. Yeah. Love it. Love it.
That's it's been so long since the Expos. I remember Pedro Martinez, Tim Raines.
Yep. Vladimir Guerrero. Yeah. All of a lot of old school guys.
Impaler.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of old school guys.
Absolutely. And they were good. The Expos were a good baseball team.
Yeah.
Always had a good solid, in the mix and stuff. I don't think they ever won a World Series there. No. But that's what it is. So have you had the chance to take a breath yet?
A little bit. The past kind of week and a half has been the most kind of chillish I've had in probably a couple of years, to be honest. Just
and then he goes, "This guy's trying to get me on the show. I just want to relax."
No, all good. But yeah, it's been a little bit of relaxation for the past week, but not too much time to just kind of hang out in the last little while.
How many phone calls are you getting from people and things? Has that been something that's happened?
Yeah, it kind of slowed down with the scouts and stuff, kind of right around before the Combine, because all the interviews were scheduled there already. So and all the conversations that need to be had kind of already had. And then after the Combine, a few Zoom calls have trickled in, and then just calls with my advisor and stuff. But hasn't been too bad since the beginning of the Combine.
So let's walk back. I think we started the beginning of the year, way back in the winter. We had you and Leo in with your dad.
Yep.
And we were talking NIL money, right?
Yeah.
My, how things have changed.
Yeah.
Right. That's and I look back at that and I'm like, oh my goodness, because you were just thinking about Mizzou. So, from looking back, does that seem a long way away?
It does seem a little bit of ways away, just because of how many things have happened in the past. I guess less than a year, honestly, but it does seem a little while away. Yeah.
I would imagine. So, talk to us about that process. From that moment, because that's kind of where I started looking at this. And that you're going into your senior year. How did this all begin?
Yeah. Really, it's been the work that I've been putting in for the past 4 years. But I think where it all kind of showed out was the Super 60. That's kind of where everything sped up. And that's where I got on a radar for a lot of pro scouts, as well as college scouts as well. But I was already committed to Mizzou there. But yeah, that's where I kind of got on the radar for everyone. And then the spring, people came out and scouted me. Some liked me, some didn't. But that's kind of how it goes. But the Super 60 is where it kind of all kicked it all off.
So what is the Super 60 about?
Yeah, it's 60 best players in the country, high school, 2024 prospects for my class, seniors. And it's just kind of a kickstart to pro scouts, kind of getting on people's radar and then them coming to scout you in the spring.
So you just basically go through the whole routine of a prep baseball scout day. Is that basically what it is?
Yeah.
So it's not different that way.
Yeah,
it's just different. All these people are sitting there, right?
Yeah, it's just the people there are just different. Yeah.
I've noticed something. First off, I remember watching you last summer, just watching clips and whatnot, hitting home runs from the left side, which I hadn't seen you hit with that kind of power from the left side your junior year and before that. Where did that, come from?
Yeah, I think, again, I just contribute that to the work that I put in for the past 4 years. I think it all started to kind of pay off. This past summer is where I kind of started to take big jumps, and a lot more colleges came out and watched me. But yeah, just the strength portion and the physicality side is the biggest thing for me. Just putting on weight, strength, and then letting that transfer over to my game naturally. So that was
from your junior year to your senior year, how much weight did you put on?
Probably 20 to 25 pounds. Probably.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How much you think what was muscle weight?
The majority of it. That's kind of how it's been since my freshman year. I came into high school like 115, and then started this year. It was about 185. So.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of food and working out, but yeah. Yeah.
It is a lot of food, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it hard to put that regimen in? I mean, people think, oh, it's not that hard to eat that much. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was the hardest part for me. Because I don't really love to just shove food down my face all day, every day. In the off season, it's not like my favorite thing to do. So working out, I love to do, and training I love to do. But the eating part, it's the most disciplined part for me, at least, that I had to have. Just staying consistent with what I'm eating. Kind of watching what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, how much sleep I'm getting, just all the recovery that my body needs. So whenever I do work out, it is for something. So that was the biggest discipline side for me.
Yeah, it's not McDonald's, right?
Yeah, it's just yeah.
What kind of who helped you with your diet and we're going to start talking about a lot of these things because I think it's important. If you're a high level athlete and you want to put on weight, you want to get stronger, diet's a huge part of that, right?
Yeah, for sure. I had multiple people kind of help me, give me foods that help with weight gain, a lot of protein, little carbs. So I had a lot of people kind of give me advice and throw information at me. But for me, it was just kind of waking up and eating as much good food as I could during the day. Whenever I pretty much could it all. But that was where.
Were you eating in class?
Oh, all the time. I mean, that's a lot.
Right? I mean, it's almost like that. Because how many calories were you consuming?
Probably close to 6,500.
No kidding.
Yeah,
It's hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah, just all day long, snacking on good snacks. A lot of PB&Js, protein bars, but those, yeah.
Get the Uncrustables.
Oh yeah, that's what I ate during school all day long. That and water.
I like Uncrustables.
Yeah, they were good. It wasn't that I wouldn't complain about.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because I know it's that part of it, and I think it's something that if you haven't done it before, and it's hard to get yourself started that way, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's super hard. I mean that's what I've always said. The eating part of it is the hardest part, just because starting that cycle of when you aren't really hungry, eating. When you are hungry, shove as much food as you can until you're not hungry, and just continuing that every day. Eating super late at night, eating really early in the morning. So, yeah, that was definitely the hardest part of the training side for me, honestly. But yeah.
Now, we came out in the summer. It's been talk about this season though with Francis Howell. I want to come back to that because aside from we'll get to the people in the stands and all that, but just from a baseball standpoint, your senior year, right? You guys dealt with some injuries, didn't quite get to the mountaintop, but you were in the Final Four. What was that like this year? And I mean, it's your career is on a trajectory. You'll play ball continue. You're going to continue your career, less injury, which God forbid. But so what was that like? Is it I think some guys realize, it's my last. Was there any of that, or was it just, hey, it's just the next part of my career?
Yeah, for me, I really try to focus on just staying in the moment. So this entire year, not really. Obviously, it's a thought in the back of your mind, like this is kind of the last run with the friends that you've grown up with. But Coach Perkins, Coach Cissell, my dad, Coach Felt, Coach Heron, all of them did a great job of just kind of trying to keep us all in the moment during practice, during games. Understand that the season's long, so whenever we have injuries or something, just kind of continuing through, working through that, and the next guy's ready to fill the spot, and always ready. So it was a great season, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun, which is a big thing, keeping baseball fun if you want to play for a long time. So just going out there with a lot of friends that I've grown up with and a great group of guys. It's been super cool for the past 4 years, but especially this past year.
There hasn't been a time that you haven't played in big games in high school, right?
No, pretty much every single year. Or I guess, yeah, every single year I've been in a pretty big game.
Even your freshman year, I think it was I believe it was a quarterfinal.
Yeah, quarterfinal versus
with
West.
And McCutcheon.
Yep.
And that I felt bad for Jake on that one.
Yeah.
And that was tough.
Yeah.
I know
tough break, yeah.
I think that ate him up a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely did. But he's a great player, and he had an injury this past season at MSU, but he's recovering. I talked to him the other day at the PCDO League, and he's doing great, and he's looking forward to this next season. So
good for him.
Yep.
Good. Because the tradition, how do you keep yourself connected to Francis Howell?
Yeah, I try to just reach out to returning players. Coach Perkins, I try to keep in contact with. Going to camps this past Monday, just going up to Howell camps, seeing the kids that are coming up, kind of talking to them what it'll be like, what my experience is like, and then just trying to stay in touch with people is the biggest thing, just reaching out and keeping those relationships.
Is that important to you?
Yeah, I mean, the relationship side for me is one of the biggest things. After baseball, you're still going to have relationships, and keeping those relationships as long as you can is a big thing. So, yeah.
I remember, it's tough, these scenes, and I don't mean, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody or whatnot, but seeing your dad after that third place game, that was tough even for me.
Yeah.
Just watching him, he's like, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was for him. I was talking to him. It was either this morning or yesterday. He was just talking about how he just kind of broke down after. But he was just talking about how after all the years of his coach and stuff, that I was like the last person in line, the last senior he'll ever coach. So that's what he was like. It really ate me up.
Yeah, and you could tell. And but I think that's cool. It meant something to him. And what do you? I think that's a huge part of success. And how do you take that from these coaches and put that into your mindset?
Yeah, I think just taking bits and pieces from every coach that I run across. I'm not obviously going to agree with everything every coach says.
Sure.
So I think the biggest thing for me is to keep learning and growing, is to take small pieces from every coach that I try to take something from, not just in baseball, just try to take something from every conversation, every relationship, and just learn something. So, but whenever it goes into baseball, I think that's helped me grow a lot, just because I've tried to be super coachable and try to take in as much as I can from everyone that I could. So yeah, it's a big thing.
We know you'd committed to Mizzou, right? So that was step one, and that's there. Let's go back to the beginning of the season. You went to the Super 60. The buzz started. What was going through your mind then?
Yeah, I think it was a super cool opportunity. It's what I prayed for my entire life, and God keep me healthy and give me the opportunity to go perform on the biggest stage at the Super 60 and me go out and show as well as I could. Yeah. All glory to him, obviously, but the work that I've put in and everything, the people that have helped me to get here, it was amazing. And then so whenever I got that opportunity, and I came with my first game, and there was just a bunch of people and phone calls after the Super 60 and stuff. It was super cool, because it's just what I've dreamed about and what I've prayed for my entire life. So yeah.
Who was the first one to call you?
Alonzo Wright, Red Sox area scout.
Really?
Yep.
Red Sox.
Yep.
How many different teams have contacted you?
Pretty much all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
All of them. Yeah.
Now I don't know nothing about recruiting. I just don't in that respect, or what that draft process. Never been involved in that stuff. So that's curious to me. I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
But is it just due diligence on some people's behalf?
Yeah, for sure. Some teams don't even look at high school hitters. They look at just high school arms or whatever the case may be. So some people just may not like me as a player or whatever the case may be. So it's just kind of a lot of the area scouts like to just reach out just to make sure that they covered you. And sometimes just kind of honestly cover themselves just in case you turn out to be something, I guess. Kind of cover their tails a little bit.
Yeah.
But a lot of the area scouts will reach out, and then if they like you, then it just kind of keeps going up the ranks.
So from there, did you ever feel any pressure, or has it been that way, or has it been just kind of like, well, here it is, let's go do something.
Yeah, I think for me, trying to have fun with it was the biggest thing. Because at the beginning of the season, it was just super different. A lot of the guys that were getting recruited by a lot of pro scouts, they had this past summer, they had a lot of people come watch them and stuff. So for me, everything kind of sped up on me really quick. So whenever I come out the first couple of games and there's 20 plus pro scouts in the stands, the biggest thing for me was just not trying to be who I like kind of thought they wanted me to be and just being myself. So that was the biggest kind of adjustment time in the first couple of weeks whenever people were coming out. Was I was trying to just, I feel like, do what they wanted me to do and be the player that they wanted me to be, instead of just they're coming to watch you because you're you.
Who you are.
Yeah, so just being myself and just having fun playing, but that was the biggest thing.
I think that to me shows a sign of maturity, because I don't know at my age, at that age of me, I would have thought like that, because that's, no matter what, you're trying to impress the person because it is your goal, right?
Yeah.
So to have that presence of mind, I think that's impressive. And I like watching you play. It was interesting, and I don't mean this. There was watching you play this year. I've seen just a few shortstops around the Missouri area this year that made plays that I thought were, oh my goodness, like that. And I remember watching, I don't know if I should say, one very good shortstop in this area it was a similar play. Couldn't quite finish the throw, not as mature physically yet, but got to the ball, impressive, behind second base, turn and make that throw.
Yeah.
That is one of the most difficult throws as you're on the second base side of second and having to turn and throw a BB. That's just not easy, is it?
No.
But I saw you execute that one, and I thought, man, that just didn't look that hard.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just taking those type of reps in practice. And and just kind of my entire life, just in a way, just messing around a little bit and trying to like make it as hard as I possibly can. Tell my dad to hit it as far as the way he could for me, and trying to make those plays as consistent as possible, even in practice, just so in a game, in case you have a ball like that and you're turning around blindly, and you just kind of have to have a feel for the game and a feel for where the first baseman is going to be, and just trust yourself and trust your body that you've done it before, and just kind of let it eat. But that's what I like to do, and that's why I say have fun with it. Me and Nate Orff, even in hitting practice, will do some like weird like games and stuff, but just preparing for whatever that could happen, even if it's not like likely, but just preparing for it.
When did you feel physically capable, though, to be able to make a play like that?
I felt always pretty physically capable to do it, but whenever I was probably actually physically capable to do it was either last year or this year, just because the physical side, arm strength, just kind of full body maturity has just kind of gotten bigger. It's going to continue to grow and stuff, but this is probably the past year and a half, 2 years. Makes
a difference, doesn't it?
For sure. Yeah, big difference.
Because, and we, there was something, I was talking with Gonzo Gonzalez from McInsight.
Yep.
And I didn't know this. He dropped some knowledge on me. I didn't know. I was like, we were talking about arm care and the things, and he said that, your ligaments don't completely mature till you're 26. I was unaware of that fact. And then I was like, wow, that's huge. And I think that's the difference. So, sometimes you can try and outperform what your body can do, correct? Yeah. Did you ever think that was something you were trying to do even in this year with the scouts in the stands?
For me, not necessarily, just because I've really always tried to play like myself and not do any more than I can do. Because if you can't do it, you can't do it. So just being myself and knowing my capabilities and what my strong suits are, my strengths, and sticking to that, because that's what attracts scouts' attention, is you being yourself and you doing what you're good at. So that's what they're there to watch, and showing that.
So first few games, when did the scouts really start showing up in force?
Yeah, so started off pretty just like a lot of area scouts just by themselves, and then as the season went on, the area scout would be with their regional cross checker, and then they'd come back if they like me. Some of them after that they wouldn't come back, and then some of them would come back with their national cross checker, and then towards the end of the season, or towards like the 3/4 through the way of the season, kind of slows down a little bit, and then back on the back end of the season, you'll see kind of people start popping up again in your last couple of games. Quite a few people were out, and that's when the national cross checkers are there, the scouting directors are there. I had a few assistant managers there, so that's when people start really, the big guys kind of start coming out.
Wow. So it starts with just a scout, then a regional. What's a cross checker?
Cross checker is just kind of someone that covers more of a general area, and the area scout kind of just covers a smaller area, and then goes regionally with the regional cross checker, obviously. And then if they like them, the national cross checker, they don't come to a whole bunch of games, just people that they, a select few that they like across the nation. That's obviously the national cross checker guy, and then they'll cover them. And then the scouting director is kind of the head of all of them. And if the national cross checker and everyone else checks their box, then he'll come in and watch you.
What boxes are they checking?
Do
they ever tell you?
Not really. That's why a lot of it's unknown. It's not really like college recruiting. It's quite a different process because you're kind of you're just blindsided for a lot of it until after really the combine is whenever I started getting feedback from my advisor, from teams and stuff. But you're just more in the blind from things.
Really? So they're not wrong. They just want to. They know what they're looking for, and they want to see if you fit that.
Yeah.
Basically what it boils down to. And I understand. So that's got to be in your mind then, just to go out and play. If they like me, they like me. If they don't, I'm just going to go play ball.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That was the biggest thing, just staying in the moment, being myself, and just going out and play.
That's cool. And I know one of the cool things for me, and I have the picture, I still is I got an opportunity to take a picture with you and Trey Schneider, another opportunity there. That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, guys within your state, and I know you guys play in the summer together and things like that. How cool has that been? Have you been able to share information?
I mean, yeah, it's been super cool. Me, Trey, and then Cole Gibbler as well.
Cole Gibbler,
we talk quite a bit all the time. For me and Trey, it's always been a competition.
I could tell that even in the third place game.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking to each other the whole time, but I mean, it's been super, super fun just competing with him, but also him being a friend off the field and talking to him. Having a couple other guys from that team going through the same process has been super cool. But yeah, it's been pretty cool just kind of being able to share that process with a lot of those guys.
Did you guys, when you were looking at that and you're trying to impress them, basically, for lack of a better way to put it, did you guys talk and discuss those things and say, hey, look, maybe we just gotta stop that and just play ball? Or was that just something on your own?
Just kind of on our own, just kind of going out there, but yeah, not too much.
Very good, very good. Cole Gibbler, yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's two guys to have a nice relationship within this process, isn't it?
For sure. Him, Cole Gibbler, Trey Snyder, Eli Lovich, and Anton Sieber are all guys, and myself, that are all guys that could get drafted from that Royal Scout team. So it's been cool to play with them, one, and then two, talk to them off the field, see some of them at the combine, stuff like that.
That's neat. You're not playing ball really this summer right now, are you? It's just all about the draft, right?
Yeah, just training for that.
Has that been something different for that? That's got to be something different. You used to just, okay, it's summer, let's go play ball.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a different experience completely. Having a lot of free time, sort of ish, away from like training and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely been different. Not traveling every week, coming home for 2 days, traveling. But yeah, it's been nice at the same time, as well as just ready for whether that's a draft or Mizzou. But yeah.
Have you played any games? Have you got nothing? It's just that. Wow.
Nope.
That's crazy. Let's talk about, you got through all this. We'd talked at the championships about doing this, and then you're getting ready for the draft combine. You got invited. You have to be invited to go there, right?
Yep.
How many guys are there?
300, and then there's some of the college guys weren't there, so it was like 280-ish, 290 probably.
Really? Mm-hmm. So it's a mix of college and high school. How many high school guys were there?
I think there was like 140, 135-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's not a lot, is it?
No. Yeah, it was. I remember we were at Lafayette, I think, and my dad came up to me pregame and told me that I got invited to that, and that was a super cool moment. So yeah,
absolutely,
yep.
yeah. Before we get to the draft combine, I want to come back to this. So the scouts start the number. So you can say if you don't want to, it's fine. I don't.
Yeah.
But what are the teams that have started taking an interest in you and kind of followed you all the way? Because I know there was some guys even in the quarterfinals, district finals, watching you and things like that, right? I think even at the state, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so the main ones, there's been quite a few of them, but the main ones that have been like kind of throughout the entire season have been the Diamondbacks, Mariners, Royals, Rangers have been in there, Giants, Marlins, and then there's some other ones that I'm for sure missing, but those are the ones that have kind of followed me throughout the entire season.
That's cool. Now the Royals, that's interesting because you played for the Royal Scout team. Is there any contact other than just when it started in this process? Or what's the affiliation? I know there is some, but is there really that much conversation?
No, not really. Just kind of the same process for all the other teams as well with them.
They just know you a little better, right?
Yeah, just because I've been around some of their coaches and stuff, but yeah.
Sure. Arizona Diamondbacks, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, Phoenix is nice.
Yep.
In the wintertime.
Yeah. It's toasty down there for sure. Toasty down there.
So, is there a team that kind of, as you're going through this process, that tweaks you, that goes, oh, that'd be cool?
Not really. I mean, honestly, any team that's going to give me an opportunity, and the right opportunity to go play for them, if it works out, then I'd go there. But if not, then Mizzou as well. But yeah.
Is there a scenario that you would just go to college?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if it's not the right opportunity, player development wise or money wise, then yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So draft combine. Let's come back to these for a minute. That's got to be some kind of, as far as the baseball world is concerned, that's the less than 1% that get to experience that. And what was that like?
Yeah, it was a super unique experience. One, because all the guys down there are all studs. They're all great players. So meeting a lot of new people, that was super cool. And then honestly, just the on-field stuff, the on-field portion, it's kind of like what you do at any other showcase or workout or anything like that. You just kind of do your thing for that. But the different part were the interviews that you have with the teams, the private interviews that you have. That's the new part, and that was super cool, talking and having the conversation with those teams. So yeah.
Yeah. Was it nerve-wracking?
Not necessarily. I was just super excited. That was the biggest thing.
Good. Now, when you're out there and amongst all that group of dudes, and you call those are dudes, I know we talk a lot about dudes and stuff, and there's different levels of dudes, but do you think does it sometimes like, man, do I fit here?
Not for me. I feel like I'm a pretty confident person, so I like to really try to trust my work, and just know that I'm as good as, if not better than, a lot of the guys there. And that's kind of, I feel like, the mindset you have to have in order to compete with those guys. Because if you go there and you're like, oh wow, look at that person, or whatever the case may be, but just kind of knowing who you are and just not kind of shying away from competition.
The confidence that it takes, I think, to play at that level, and I don't mind saying this personally, and I know it might offend some people and things like that, but it borders on arrogance. Because if you do not believe that you belong there, you're not going to stay very long, right?
Yeah, you have to have some sort of extreme confidence, or some would call it arrogance, to go out there and compete at the highest level. I mean, if you don't think you're the best, then you're not going to be able to be on that level, be able to compete with those type of people. So just being as confident as you can in your work. And that's what, for me, my work ethic has been a super big thing for me, relying on that and being able to fall back on that. And like, I know I belong here because of the work that I put in. So yeah.
And I think it's, and I say that, and I don't mean it bad. And because, there's a lot of people that look at these athletes and, I've met some professional, nice people, but they just, that confidence level, it's hard sometimes for people to deal with. Have you ever encountered that yourself?
Not a whole bunch. Honestly, not. I've always loved to compete with the highest level performers and see how I stack up. So regardless of whether I was like 13 or 14, seeing how good I could be has always been a big thing for me.
There you go. I think confidence is key, right? If you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to be able to do it.
No, not at all.
I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
It's true in anything you set yourself up in life. And evidently, and the thing that's curious to me, the last thing here is you don't seem fazed mentally from this. You don't seem like you're overwhelmed by it.
No, not too much. It's obviously been a different process, so the unknowns are just a little bit. Just you're unsure because you don't know a lot of the stuff with pro ball. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I feel like I've prepared as well as I could, as well as anybody else. I've been around the environment of people that have been in the minor leagues, been in pro ball, kind of know what it's like. So kind of having my dad has been like a big mentor for me. Brett Graves, Nate Orff, and a lot of the environment that those guys bring to the table, and their training style and how they talk and the conversation we have. So stuff like that, I feel like I'm super prepared for. And obviously, I'm not going to be 100% prepared because I've never been there or done anything like that. But I feel like I've done everything I can. So kind of leaving the rest up to God and just doing my thing.
Amen to that. I like that thought. And I think it's interesting as well. Of course, your dad, first and foremost. But then because I think the baseball has been so good around here, mm-hmm. more than what we've maybe realized. And we're starting to, I think, get that realization now, as you mentioned Brett Graves, Nate Orff, these guys, they've been through that process.
Yeah.
There are guys you can reach out to mm-hmm. that maybe you don't even, you've had a relationship because it's Francis Howell guys. But if it was somebody across the state, I know they would take the time to talk to him, wouldn't they?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of guys like Carson Milbrandt, Nas, there's been a lot more, but Nas and me, I text him often just because it's a great resource, being like kind of what is it like what are the dislikes, what are the likes, what is a normal day, just a lot of things that you couldn't really ask just a normal person.
Sure.
So yeah, just reaching out to him, using the resources that I have to be as prepared as I can.
Yeah, because it's life-changing.
Yeah.
You can say what you want to, it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would just think going through that process is. So comparing your junior year to your senior year.
Yeah, there's a big difference, just from baseball-wise to people around me and just surrounding myself with good people. So, I mean, there was a big switch between my junior and senior year, and that was probably the biggest jump I've ever made, scouting-wise and on the field. And trying to create the relationships with college people, and then immediately kind of jumping into the pro ball side of it, and then seeing what happens there. But yeah.
Last thing here, and I want to say this because I want to ask you this, and because there's a lot of kids that will never, I don't care, reach the professional level or even get a chance maybe to even go through this process. But if you want to continue to compete, play baseball into college and whatnot, what's some advice you'd give kids?
I mean, yeah, off the bat, there's some of it is just God-given ability and talent that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and but I think just finding your the max level that you can go, your potential, and trying to reach that, whatever that may be, but working your hardest every day to get there, regardless of whether that is varsity high school or that's JV on high school or JUCO or D2 or D3 or D1 or maybe that's pro ball, but whatever it may be for whoever it is, just working as hard as you can to find out you don't want to have any regrets. That's a big thing for me. So working as hard as you can to fulfill your potential is a big thing.
Very good, man. Very good. Well, congrats.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I know we're not. I'm just congrats getting where you got. I think that's impressive in and of itself, and whatever comes your way, I know it'll be well deserved.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me on.
And hopefully, maybe in the future, if you get to, we'll have to bring you into the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk some more baseball.
Yeah. It's a pleasure.
I appreciate it. Folks, Tytus Cissell, if you want to watch the draft, you might see, when is it?
July 14th, 15th, and 16th. And then the first day will be on MLB Network, and then MLB.com the second and third day. So
that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yep.
We'll be watching.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Please, if you like what we're doing, hit the subscribe button. Hit that dinger next to it. You've hit a few of those.
Yeah.
Ours don't get you any runs, though.
No.
It only gets you notifications.
Yeah.
Which is
still
okay,
good. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I like that. And there you go. So we appreciate your support of Youth Baseball Midwest. Gives us an opportunity to talk to young men like this, and we appreciate his time very much. So, again, thanks. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. Pitchers, throw strikes. Hitters, give them some advice.
Hit the ball.
Simple.
Yep.
Keep it simple. We'll see y'all next time.